Revival House Network.
Howdy, folks. Aaron from Revival House here, but you knew that because you clicked on the video. You know, like a lot of you, I went and saw Joker this weekend, and I felt inclined to put in my 2 cents as well. Now, Todd Phillips, the guy of all guys that did Old School and Hangover and things like that, delivered a movie that sort of defied maybe a lot of expectations. Maybe not expectations. I think a lot of people expect this to be sort of gritty and like a ode to 70s Scorsese. But it sort of changed the way comic book movies have been perceived lately, right? Because he didn't make a comic book movie. He essentially made a character study. Not unlike, Taxi Driver, right? There's definitely Taxi Driver in there. There's definitely King of Comedy in there. There's definitely some Fight Club in there, I guess. So it's an amalgam of all these different films, and it tends to take a lot of inspirations, but you know what? It does it better than so many of those, right? For me, Taxi Driver, for example, is one of my favorite flicks of all time. I think that is a 10 out of 10, right? And honestly, I think this is a 10 out of 10 too. I don't want to be too blinded by just sort of the fact I just saw it, right? And the awe of it all. Maybe a little time will make me feel a little differently about it. But man, it was great. It was brutal. The kills were gory, and the tension was there. And let me say, man, that was a tight script. That thing moved along. I had to take a piss, right? I always have to take a piss in the theater. And I was trying to sort of gauge and find, all right, what's kind of gotta be a lull scene where I can get up and squirt one out for a second. I couldn't find one. I had to hold it because every scene to me was crucial and every scene was captivating. And, that in part is due to Joaquin Phoenix, because that dude was in every scene in the movie. I was kind of waiting for a scene that he wasn't going to be in. That's when I was going to go book it. Never happened. He drove that whole flick home. And man, like I said, it was enthralling. And what a great third act, man. I mean, I don't want to give too many spoilers or anything like that, but I won't give any spoilers. But from the third act, I mean, just everything from like the one big twist. There was a lot of twists. It was just one after another at the end there. But I wanted to say what I felt about the flick just because I thought it was good. I don't ever talk about comic book movies. We don't ever do video reviews and things like that. I don't know if I'm ever going to do more video reviews. But this flick, like I said, reminded me more of my favorite era in cinema, and that is the 70s, right? And flicks like Taxi Driver, all those Scorsese flicks and those sleazy New York style flicks of the day. And it was great, man. So if anybody has any preconceived ideas of comic book flicks, if you're not into comic book flicks, but you're into the flicks I mentioned, fucking work. Go check it out, man. If you're into that Scorsese vibe, do it. The soundtrack was great. The score was great. The songs they chose for the actual soundtrack were great. People are giving them shit today, I saw online, for including a Gary Glitter track. Just let it go, man. That's like the least disturbing thing about the flick. The thing about it is, like I said, it's a character study. And it touched on some pretty big issues, I think, from mental stability, just mental health and how we treat that and the stigmas behind it, social class stigma and the separation between that, even a little bit with the whole medication thing, right? Because there's that one scene where they nix Joker's program funding to see his shrink, and he makes it clear, like, hey, who's going to pay for my medication? And then when he really flies off the rails in that third act, when he has that encounter with Bobby D on his little Tonight Show ripoff, he makes a statement and says, you know what? Ever since I got off my medication or something like that, he's like, he felt liberated. So I don't know. It touches on that a little bit too. They just nailed it. And every time you think maybe there's a plot hole, I'm a bit of a critic. I go in trying to follow a movie. I try to predict where the movie's gonna go. And like I think a lot of people, you're asking yourself, like, why would a young, attractive girl be into fucking Arthur Fleck, this older, skinny, clearly nutsoid creep pedophile looking dude? And it, not only that, but man, isn't this escalating awfully quickly? Like, she just met him and he's running in there and he's giving her a big old smooch. And then he's already at the hospital with them when his mom is ailing and she had that stroke or whatever. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready to get the pen out. This is a flaw. But no, it's not, because they're pulling an Edward Norton Fight Club on you, and he's batshit crazy. And it, begs the question by the end of the movie, how much is real, how much is in his mind. And I guess to a degree it's up to the viewer, right? But I like to think the entire end to me happened, right? I guess we don't know what happened to the quote unquote love interest that he had built up in his mind. 1 second he's in her apartment with her kid, pleading for him to leave. And then the next scene, I think he's just back in his apartment, and I think that's when he gets the call to go be on the Robert De Niro show. So I don't know if he got to her, if he killed her, but the thing was loaded with tension. I don't want to ramble on too much, but the flick was great. It was fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again. The only thing I'm a little bummed about is, judging from some news bits I saw today, I'm scared they're going to go back on their word, because originally it was, this is a one-off. We're not connecting it to any of the DCU bullshit. It's not going to be in line with that upcoming Robert Pattinson Batman and all that stupid stuff. We're going to make a standalone origin movie, in the vein of a 70s fucking crime beat movie, man. And that's exciting to me. But today I saw a headline where it said Joaquin Phoenix would be open to a sequel. That scares me, because that's opening the floodgates, because the studios are going to want and pressure these people into a sequel. And, we know Todd Phillips and these guys, they don't own the property rights to Joker. So, Warner Brothers is going to fucking make that movie if they can. I don't think they can do it without Joaquin Phoenix. I think they would move along and do it without Todd Phillips, sadly. So I hope they keep a little integrity, as much as this integrity that they've gained with this flick, and just go out classy with it, man. It's awesome. All I know is it was a film that represented the DC that I think people liked. The dark DC, and, a character like Joker, you could do so much with the guy, right? Just like they did in the comics. The guy's backstory, I guess, always changed. There's something for everybody. Everybody's got a favorite Joker. I always liked Jack Nicholson. I think Joaquin is kind of creeping up on there, but to me, Jack Nicholson was probably still my favorite. That's a nostalgia thing. But man, you could do so much with these characters, and I'm just stoked not to see where it goes. I hope it ends right here. It was a perfect end, even with that whole Batman tease. If they were to do a sequel, then we would start entering cheesy territory. Nobody really wants to see it go further. Nobody wants to see, what's next? Are they going to show Bruce Wayne being all tormented from what happened to him and him going through that whole fucking backstory training montage shit again? Just let it be. Let it die. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble anymore. I just wanted to be creative and do something stupid like this, and tell you guys all out to, I guess, see the Joker if you haven't already, and let me know what you think. I'm very curious. This is the kind of flick we want to talk about, maybe on like Cinema Enema or something like that. Zach, he's a big troll hater, and Josh James of R-Rated, we talk about it, and we were talking about how great the flick was. I think even Mac too, but Zach, he's too cool for school. He refuses to see anything that was based on a comic book, which there's a lot of good shit that was based on graphic novels that he's excluding there. But even Zach would like this flick. That's all I got. Catch you guys.
Revival House 2019, y'all. That sounds like fire, like this country used to.